All right, we'll get right into it.
We are here in a beautiful, beautiful place, right?
Yeah, down in Beaver again. It's your neck of the woods.
Right.
But we have a really cool guest today. We have Emmanuel Panagiotakis. Did I say that right?
Beautiful.
Awesome. So kind of give a little introduction. Emmanuel is an awesome photographer, artist. I'll let him kind of classify himself. But Emmanuel, to get started, one of the first questions we always ask our guests, just to kind of reel into things, get things flowing, is, do you have any tattoos?
Yes, I do.
Do you? Wow, I'm not going to lie. That came as a surprise to me.
That little sneer that he just made, it must mean there's something special about this tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Then the first tattoo I got was the initials of my family.
Okay.
My wife's and my 2 kids. It's right there. Then the second one, I wanted to have a special tattoo symbolized, because I love United States and I love Greece, all right, because I'm from Greece.
Right.
Then what I did was I have an American eagle, a bald eagle, holding a Greek flag.
No way.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. And this is kind, like a look, United States, strong, the eagle, Oof, I love eagles. Then with a Greek flag, like I got you, you're here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good meeting for me. And another one, my last one, it's right here, where you spell it, it's a Greek tattoo, that came Monon Lave. We have that Greek helmet, that Leonidas,
Right.
the Hadrians, Spartans.
Yes.
And say Monon Lave. Then if you translate that in English, it's come and get it. What
Okay.
means is we're tough, right? We're not going to give up at easy.
Right.
We work for what we have. It's very important to me, because nobody's going to hang you anything. The Leonidas say to the persons, I'm not going to give you the land. Come and get it if you want to. Then this is couple tattoos that really symbolize me as a person.
That is really cool. Explanation of the tattoo, but the symbolism, that's really powerful.
And it
Great
fits
idea.
into like the whole idea of this show is to kind of highlight business owners and entrepreneurship and kind of talk about the struggle and the path that people take on entrepreneurship to start a business or a career. And that symbolizes it. I mean, just like that's an entrepreneur is, you don't want to be handed things. You want to go out, you want to grab it, you want to take it.
You're right.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy in Washington, D.C., and he always said, opportunities are like a slippery fish. If you don't grab a hold of it now, that thing is going to be gone. And it's kind of the same thing about the work ethic behind an entrepreneur and taking, in a positive way, advantages of situations and opportunities that pop up. And I think that's, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that's what we look for.
Definitely.
That's what we do. And I don't mean in a manipulative way or anything like that. I mean that you see an opportunity and you're so passionate about it, you go for it. Yeah. But yeah, that's very cool. The great explanations of that too.
It's awesome, huh?
Yeah, they're really nice.
Like I said, I was surprised. I did not think you would have any, but that's I don't have any. But that's really cool.
Yeah, then everything's here in excellent.
Yeah.
It's like here and there. Then. But yeah, that's good. Then it's a good meeting. I always like to have a good explanation for everything I do, even with my work.
Right.
Everything comes with a story and everything else. Then.
Well, talking about your work and your story. So, and I mentioned this to you earlier, is I've seen these beautiful landscape. It's not just photos, it's art. Okay. And I have always admired the eye, the angles, the colors, the compositions. And when I see something, I can almost identify it as your work without even seeing the name attached to it. And I have a client right down the street. We talked about Bovard Anderson. You took a photograph of their building. You have this uncanny way of capturing the light, the sky, the clouds, in the landscape photography. It's just gorgeous stuff. How did you get into this? What sort of drove you to head this direction in a career?
Yeah, I came from Greece. I was 19, a little bit over 1980, 89. Then, you know, I had no intention to be a photographer. Okay, when 90% of the Greek people that work with their hands, you have to do manual work. That work every day. Okay, then my father was a painter, house painter. Then he goes to me. I say, hey, listen, you know, you love my daughter or whatever. You know, if you want to come up, I say I can give you work for a couple of years till you get situated. Then you can do whatever you want. I'm like, okay. Then that's where it began. Okay, I began as a painter, as a house painter, and I still, 35 years later, I still paint houses. Okay. Now I don't do it physically. I do have my guys that do it for us. I do the estimates and everything else. Yeah, this is like a little bit weird of the story, but you know, anymore you need another source of income. And I was thinking to do because I like to create with my hands. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build my house. I want to have a house. You know, you're ready to get a family. You live in an apartment for so many years. You're ready to move on. Okay. Then I built my own house. I loved it because you see your creation, all right? You create something. And you're very proud. I built 17 houses after that. Until 2008 came. Okay.
Tough time.
I lost everything. I never lost my wife. She was with me, very strong, and my family. You can replace money. You can replace everything. But, you know, you need to have somebody strong next to you. Then I was very fortunate to have that.
Sure.
Then what happened was I was looking, I lost almost everything. Then I'm like, you know what? You can't just go and invest $250,000 of your own money or the bank's money, okay, 6 months later to make $20,000. Probably it's another way you can do that, okay? And I was like very, very beginning of the photography, and I like photography. And I used to get the magazines and looking all the little bugs and all that. And I'm like, wow, how they can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. Then the first digital camera came. And now it changed everything, all right? Then now you can take a picture and you don't have to wait 1 week to get your picture.
It's the truth, man.
All right?
That's really good.
Then you can see it instantly. And if you don't like it, you delete it. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people, they have no clue what means film photography, where you have to wait, you have to do your calculations, take a picture, wait 2 3 days, finally you get it back. It's like the worst picture you ever take. All right? You're like, what is going on? Yeah. Then now you have the whole instant. It's there. It's now. Then if I can see now what's happening, I can fix it. This is how it puts me. It put me into photography. Just to create something like the magazines.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
we laugh about that old process. The people who might not know the film, and they would have to send film away, and you get it back. You're 100% right, Emmanuel. You know, you get those back, and you flip through. You think you got all this great imagery, and you look, and you got blurs and crooked, and your thumb over the corner. You know, all this kind of crap, and you wasted a lot of time. With the digital world now, you can click, pick through, decide, make a couple little adjustments here and there. It's really cool how it probably has changed this industry so much.
But my main barrier was language.
Okay.
Come on, I speak broken English, all right? Then I was never going to lose my accent. But, you know, I mean, you set up your ways. I mean, I left from there 19, 20. I had to start working right away. I had a family to support. Stuff is not easy. I mean, you have to work for a living. I mean, nobody's going to hang it to you, right? Then, but to have the barrier, you know, I never had enough time to go to school, you know, learning English. And I was in a construction, obviously. But you know what? If you really need something, if you really want something, if you really wanted to have something, number one you have to get is education. And I had to learn how to read and write because of photography. And, you know, I had books, I took stuff with me, and I look at it. And in photography, it's a totally different language, you know. Then this is a technical issue. You know what I mean? You work on it little by little, learn, you know. And you have your menu. I mean, the camera menu, everybody gets a camera and they have a book like this thick and they put it away. All right? You never look at the menu, all right? But if you want to create, you need to start from somewhere. You can be number 10 as soon as you get the camera, right? Mm-hmm. Then I had to learn it, and I find very difficultly, you know, the different language and all this different way of thinking, you know, seeing and experiencing. And, you know, it did good to me. I mean, really, it set me up for a success because nobody was going to give it to me. It was up to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? To go get it, to go learn it, to go even the language, okay? Because you guys get used to it to be here. You speak this language all your life, okay? You're born and raised. It's easy. Not easy for me, okay? Because I have to think what I have to say, you know? Mm-hmm. I have to know to read and how that ego take care, you know, the troubleshoot or whatever. Then, yeah. It was difficult. Then somebody saw me, and he goes to me, Manny, I have a friend in Beaver County Tourism Department. What about you go talk to the lady there? Long time ago. That was like 20 years ago. And next thing you know, I took a step. I'm like, hey, it's side money. I can make a few bucks here and there. They was paying me like, I don't know, $100 or something anytime I go out there. And then what we did was we went around and take pictures for Beaver County, you know. But it wasn't not the money, all right? The money, it's important, but it's not that important, right? You creating relationships. Because when you have the camera and you go for event to another event, you keep seeing the same people. And those same people, right? You get used to you. And they see you, then they ask you, they become friendly with you. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, your business card goes out. Next thing you know, if they think about photographer, the first guy is going to think is you. Mm-hmm. And that's how I start photography.
I think they got to trust you and like you first.
Yeah.
The work will come. I agree with you.
Yeah.
The thing is, you are like, just listening to your background and, you know, getting to where you started really progressing as a photographer, you're like the epitome in the best sense of the word of an entrepreneur. Oh, yeah. You've had to work your butt off from a lot of different angles just to create business. And then to get good at what you do or great at what you do, that's a whole nother level. So when did you realize that this was for you and that you could start to earn a living from the photography, the images that you capture?
I'm not ready yet.
No, that's a hard question to answer too, because I think a lot of us are, we don't want to promote ourselves that much. We don't want to talk about ourselves. And I think that you, at some point, you had to realize that you were good enough to capture people's attention through your photography, and that's what you've done.
Then I'm pretty straight shooter. I always say the truth and everything, you know what I mean? And, you know, then the way I am with my photography, the only way I make money is because I want to keep everything open. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I make a penny. Then this is my thing, okay? But you need money. You need money to keep your gallery open, to keep your guys, you pay your telephone bills, you pay everything. That's what I got into selling my work, just to keep my hobby live, okay? I was never ready to show you a picture, okay? I was never ready. I don't even know if I'm ready yet because I'm so picky with my work. I'm like, it's so much technical. I'm a very, very technical guy. It comes down to photography. When I see somebody else's work, And I laugh about it because it was not technical at all. You know what I mean? But that's another page and another thing. But I'm so technical for what I do. And my brain is like a sponge, right? And I always open the opportunity for me to learn. Today, I learned something I didn't know yesterday. Tomorrow, I'm going to learn something different than I don't know today.
Sure.
If you quit learning, that's when you quit everything. Then, and I still learning to read the light and everything because to put myself in a situation. Then go back to your thing, to your question, the original question you asked me. For me to create a gallery, it was my stepping stone to say, guys, listen, I'm here. I'm very serious for what I do. You can come in and say, wow, because 90% of the people that come in, they will say, wow. The 10% that was here before. They already say they wow the first time they was here, okay? Then this is what I want to bring, you know what I mean? Then when people start connecting the images with their everyday life, that's when I start selling stuff, selling photography. And I give you a little example. Then, about 7-8 years ago, I took a picture of a bench in Beaver. Okay, everybody's calling right now the famous bench. Okay, then I was there and I loved the snow how it was, and I decided to take a picture because the snow was good, the light was good. You know, I did not take a picture. The bench was just an element for me to include in the picture as a composition. Okay? I didn't have no connection with the bench. Then I posted that particular picture in Facebook, and everybody's like, wow, we love it. You know, I got like 8,000 some likes in one day, 7-8 years ago. It was crazy, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, why? Why this picture is standing up? I mean, come on, it's a bench, all right? You're in a Beaver County, it's a bench. Yeah. It's not like you're in a Grand Teton or, you know what I mean, anything else. It's just like a little bench in Beaver County.
Sure.
Then I find out after a while, what happened was that little bench there, people used to go there a long time. As you guys know the story of Beaver County, right? Beaver County used to be, we have a lot of factories.
Sure.
You know what I mean? After the factory is done, everybody moved out. Everybody's moved out to Florida, you know what I mean? All this kind of stuff. Then I had a lot of people people that go in there with a grandmother, grandpa. They used to do a lunch there. They used to do breaks there. I have a couple guys that say, hey, that's what I propose my wife. I propose my wife to get married. That's where I kiss my first girlfriend. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of stories. Okay. Right. Then I found another connection. You know what I mean? Then you know what? This is what takes a little bench where you can drive by every day. You know, pay attention to it, and it's so much. It touches people in a deeply way. Where you ask me a million times, I'm going to say no. You know, but that's the truth. I sold the bench like 100 times so far. You know what I mean?
That's amazing that one simple, singular object can have so many stories and emotions attached to it.
Yep.
That is so crazy. Now, I've seen the photograph that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I never realized all the connections to the bench.
Yeah.
That's so
crazy.
I
did my Facebook. I told them, I said, guys, listen, whoever was on the bench, can you please send me your story? I got like 200 stories. And I have it somewhere.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It's pretty good, right?
That's actually really cool.
Then what's that telling you? What is the thing we learn from that? I learn. Because if you learn anything, you just walk away. You're never going to get any better, right? you get connected. Your memories, your pictures, you put, it's not like a shutter click, you take the picture. No, okay. You have to have a story behind it. You gotta get connected. You have to find the right people to get connected with your pictures. And this is what I'm after. But when I go into a particular place to capture the picture, I never think about you or you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that picture because you may be like it. No. I take that picture because I like it. Mm-hmm. Because I have a connection with that picture. Because it symbolizes a part of my life, or it symbolizes Americana. You know what I mean? And yeah. I mean, that's the feeling I have, okay? Then you have a dream and, you think about it. You go home and you work so hard. You have to find the right spot, the right location, where to take a picture, how's the weather is going to be, what kind of lenses I need to use, what kind of settings I need to use. These are all challenges. Mm-hmm. When you go there, you get that particular image, and you come back with something, you never think how much money you can make for it, right? You just think about, I did it.
Right.
This is what a work for me. I work on it for 2 months before I get that picture, and I come home with a picture like this. Yeah. Best reward you can get.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, because I think when you're basically, what I kind of gather from that is like the people resonate with something that's similar to them. And it's like I was walking around the gallery here, and there's a photo up there of Superstition Mountain in Arizona. I was just there visiting my cousin, and I walking by, I'm like, why does it look so, like my eye caught that. I was like, why does it look so familiar? Read the little tag, I was like, I was just there. It's like we're drawn to things that are familiar to us.
Familiar to you.
Yeah.
And shapes and color. Mm-hmm. Where if I had to take color out of my pictures, I would take all the color out of my pictures, really.
Really?
That's the truth. I mean, I love black and white photography. And I have a lot of black and white. Unfortunately, I cannot display too much black and white because obviously the sales are not as great to keep the gallery open just for black and white. Mm-hmm. But, you have to sacrifice too. You have to see it as a business too. Then, and I keep, but yeah, color, photography, it comes from the Greek word photographia. It's 2 words. Photo, which means light, and graphia, which means write with light. Mm-hmm. It's not write with color. Because when they invented the first cameras and stuff, was no color. Everything was black and white. Mm-hmm. Then you record the sun, how the color is, and how the light comes. And depends on the light, that's how good your color is. You're not going to go on a bad day with a bad light and you get nice color, right? You have to understand the angles, what takes, the diffusion, the clouds, when to take it. It's a lot of work. But I'm glad I start. I just start understanding that.
Yeah.
Well, you have layers and layers and layers of knowledge and that. But I look back and I think like, okay, Emmanuel, as a little boy in Greece, you didn't wake up and say, I'm going to be a photographer. Yeah. You had a lot of other things that I believe led you to this path. And if you had to look at, so I think I told you earlier a little bit, like my mom, she's an artist. My dad was a machinist. Okay. Right down the middle, I see the structure and I see the free flow in everything that I do with my marketing business. And I think, what were the things that maybe influenced you the most to head this direction? Because you've got a pretty diverse background, but the other thing is you got the work ethic. You can tell you have the work ethic. What influenced you to go this route?
Creating. Okay, I know my father was a hard worker guy. My mother was 2 times harder worker than my dad. My mom and my dad got divorced a long time ago. Mm-hmm. My mom was working 2 jobs with my grandma to support me and my brother. That has nothing to do with creation and stuff, but it has something to do with me as a person. because I love mothers who they take care of the kids and and fathers. So it's weird to say, right? But you have to have a connection. Your feelings has to be up. You have to have a connection with people. And that's how I get connected. I really appreciate what everybody does. Okay, but you know what? My godfather, he's a videographer, and I think I took everything. That was my no too. He baptized me. Then he was a guy in the family where he was a carpenter in the beginning. He a furniture maker.
Sure.
Because in Greece, you don't have the factory. You want a closet. Hey, can you make me a closet?
Yeah.
Can you make me a bed? I'm gonna need for a bed. Then he was making that. I know you make furniture like this. It takes a lot of knowledge, and not only knowledge, you have to love it, detail. Then I see him, he went into videography. He was doing weddings, and he was one of the top videographers in my island. And I think I got it from him. But I like that. I like that feeling. I like that you get with people, you create something. You take a picture and then you show that to them and they say, wow, I love that, I mean, don't get me wrong. People can see the picture and say, oh, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Well, you have to understand it. You have to understand. Not understand it. You have to be okay with it. You know what I mean? To start, I cannot find the right word. This is where my English and the Greek get mixed up. You know what I mean? But I can find the right word. But yeah, you have to understand. But I think that's where I start. I started because of my godfather. And he gave me that talent, that experience where anytime I saw something, I'm like, wow, that's excellent. It's visual art, right? That's how they call it, right? It's visual art, is it? Yeah. Then, grow up, you can put a tape and you watch the video of the wedding, how the effects going in. I mean, it was nice. I think that was my side.
Well, I think the cool thing about that piece, Emmanuel, is the mentoring side of it. Sounds like your godfather took the time to show you some things, and then you developed an aptitude for it. I mean, you thought it was interesting, but I can tell over time you developed your own style and your own skill sets. Your style versus your godfather's style, completely different. Yeah.
And, I was not I never got up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to create my own style, right? Then the people start telling me, man, I see your pictures. I know it's you right away. I'm like,
right.
Why? Okay. Then, well, this is who I am. I love what I do. I probably would die with a camera on my hand. Probably, tripping or something somehow. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe not. But it's not quitting for me. For me, it's about right now, it's about capturing the beauty. Not only for around here, the bad thing about around here is everybody's busy. You get used to Beaver County or Pittsburgh. You never pay attention to the little stuff, what's important for us. You can drive in the parkway 20 times a month. You never check a little details. Well, I do that. If I see an empty can, a pop or something in the floor, I get upset because they don't take care of that. And if they don't clean it, it's getting mess, okay? I go up in the Western Overlook in Pittsburgh, and then I'll cut the trees down. Now you don't have a good view of the city. I'm like, why? We're like the top 10 cities in the whole world, the most photogenic. And people that cannot cut the trees down to have a view. You know what I mean? The right view.
Right.
Why the garbage are full, the overflowing. Stuff like this, where little stuff will make a big difference. You know what I mean? We're just losing that because the guy sees it. It's just Western Overlook. You know, who's going to go there? Well, it's a number one place in, you know, to do that and,
Right.
you know, keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting to me because like I'm not an artsy guy. I'm a tech guy, you know. But some of the photos I've seen like on the internet and on different social media sites, it's like I'm like it'll catch my attention. Like that's a really weird thing. You know, why is someone photographing? Like for example, there's this one photo. It's of a doctor he's just like laying on the floor in like a room, and I'm like, you know, why is this photo so popular? What is the issue with it? And you kind of like, there's like just a line there that says like, this was after a like 24 or like a 28 hour heart surgery or something like that was successful. And it's like, once you get that context behind that photo, you say, okay, that's why he's passed out on the floor because he's exhausted. You know, he's been standing for 28 hours straight. So like, yeah, when you bring up like those little details that like people might not notice, but when you kind of point that out, you're like, oh, I also find photos are interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen like some of the ones that are after 9/11 where it's like, you know, you see, there's like that photo of that guy just sitting on a bench and he's covered in like dust. And it's like, if you didn't understand the context of that photo, you're like, what is this? But like when you understand the details behind it, it's very powerful. And like you said, you're telling a story with image. Yeah.
It takes a second, split second, 1/100 of the second, 1/500 of the second to capture that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a continuous movie where you see the before and after. No, it just freezes in time. It's like this frame stopped in time.
Mm-hmm.
We're never going to come back again. You can play it forward, can reverse it. It's there. You have to understand that. You have to understand what is the story. That's why I love photography. Because you're not going to see a story before that. You're not going to see a story, you're going to move. That's just, that's a still. You capture it for many years to come. You capture, this is what I love.
Yeah.
Even if you watch the sky, you see the real different clouds formation and you capture it. You know that's never going to happen again because there's no way it's the same day 2 times. Every day is different.
Right.
That's a once in a lifetime capture.
That's it.
You know, you said something earlier too that resonated with me. So I mentioned before in one of the interviews, I have a Harley. So on the bike, you're more aware of everything around you because you got to watch out for people in cars and obstacles and things laying on the road and everything like that. But it requires you to use your senses in a different way. And I think many of us are wired to pay attention to all those little details, oftentimes the things that many other people ignore. But I think that we're alike in that way. We're wired the same, where you see little things, you want to capture those things in that moment because you're aware of them and you're helping people to experience what you just had the pleasure, or maybe it's not even a pleasurable thing. The way that you've seen something, you're able to share that with people.
And it just depends how you feel that day too, all right?
Sure.
Yeah. Then I can go out if I feel, everybody's human. Come on, you don't feel happy all the time, all right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then, when I feel a little bit down or something, and it's raining or, something, I go out, take pictures. I like the rain. I like the potholes, the rain holes, whatever. I like the moodness on the sky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a raining day, but has a lot of motion to it. That's how my life, my life is not smiling and happiness, and no life is that. Even if you have $10 billion, trillions, doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. I mean, life is life. I mean, you feel up, you feel down. That's how we are.
Yeah, you raise amazing points. You really do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the artist in you too.
Yeah.
The awareness you have, and I think the awareness of self. You talked about different emotions and how they impact you. Yeah. It's the same thing. How do you get yourself ready for a shoot? And I don't mean technically, like making sure you have all the equipment and batteries charged and everything like that. How do you start to prepare for things? Because business owners, whether you're, a lawyer or whether you're, a garbage picker, you're preparing for certain things.
Sure.
How do you prepare for a shoot?
Yeah, then I'm going to give you an example. 27th, I'm going to Italy. Okay, we're going to fly to Italy. We're going to get northern Italy.
Can Antonino not join you?
Yeah.
You guys come. We have enough room in the plane.
Yeah.
Anyway, then it is certain. You know what's good about me? This is not like it to brag about, okay? But for me, you say I see a picture 1 year ago, 2 years ago, one picture, and it just stuck in my mind. I will remember that picture. Then I'll do some research to find out where's the location at. And I can kind like I have in my brains like snapshots, pictures everywhere right here where I like pictures, you know what I mean? Then I see a picture in Italy by the water. There was a little town by the hillside. It was beautiful sunset. They call it Manarola. It's in Chicken Terra. I don't know my Italian. It's not good. Apologize if I killed it or something. But anyway, then that picture stuck in my mind. And then the first thing I do is I just flash a picture in my mind, what I want to get, if I like that. The second, I'm going to find out where the place is. The third is what time of the year is the best to capture it. The fourth is you have to find a location where do you capture it from. Okay? Then you're starting on where you're staying and all this kind of good stuff. You stay, how you get there, what's happening if you go there and the weather is raining or snow or whatever, or it's cloudy, or do you have a backup plan? Can you come back on that location? These all calculations I have to do because, face it, you spend an X amount of money to go somewhere. I want to, the pressure is on. I got to bring something back to justify the expenses of my trip, you know what I mean? And I used to go places and I was close-minded. And what I mean by that is it's a different whole world. You go in with an idea you're going to get that particular picture and you blind it. You're chasing that picture. Doesn't matter what happens. But to find out, it doesn't work that way. Then what you do is you do a little research. You find out other spots right next to it. Because if it's going to rain, I have another location. If it's going to be sunny, I can go this. Then you put yourself on that opportunity with a lot of doors open. Even if it rains, you can do street photography, you don't get disappointed. Then that's what happens with me. Then I do my research, I find out the location, the right time to go. I find few locations around it, and the game is on. Okay, it's back in my mind when I can go, when I can afford it, or if I'm around there, at least if I run out of spaces to go, I have it in my GPS. I say, I have a spot here. In that spot here, I have a picture, and I know what picture is located with that spot.
Sure.
And that's the first things I do. We do a good thing right now is I have a good team too. Jason works in the gallery, and he's super good with internet, and he's my technical guy. He helps me out a lot. He's sometimes I can find location. My spelling is not as good too. Google doesn't know
I'm laughing because I come from a family of immigrants, and my grandparents, from Italy, and they call me once a month about I was looking on Google and I couldn't find. I'm like I'll be over.
Yeah. You know what? Very, very quick, very funny thing. All right. Then yesterday I was finalizing my trip. Then I was locating my hotels. Then I had a hotel where they had 2 locations, the same name, there was a different 2 hotels. And I would start panicking because I thought I booked the same hotel an hour away. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Then, sometimes, when you start Googling it, it will give you whatever. You have to be more precise on your Google research.
It's crazy. It would have been great if you paid for 2 hotels, right?
Yeah. Then, that trip, because, it's Italian. Most of them it's Italian language too, the name of the hotels.
Right.
It's not like I'm staying in the Embassy Suites today or Hilton Hotel, okay?
Right.
Most of them, they're like smaller. They're not chains, a bed and breakfast and little hotels like this. Sometimes you have 2 hotels, the same name, just a different location, can be 1 hour away. And I got so confused because I was not thinking correctly, But anyway, this is what I have Jason for. Then Jason is my right hand.
Nice.
He does all the work, like the website and everything. Where I can't give up because I can't learn everything. I tried one time to learn everything, but I learned the hard way. Am right? Then let the professional to their job. Okay, if you want to do good marketing, get a marketing guy. If you want to do, because they know what they're doing. You cannot do everything. You cannot be an awesome photographer, an awesome marketing guy, an awesome digital guy to do your website. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Everybody has his own gift. Let the people with a gift work together with you.
That's right? Profound because
absolutely.
I think so many business owners, particularly startups, things like that, you don't have all the deep pockets and resources usually, right? And so you're trying to do everything yourself. And then you reach a point and you need to surround yourself with the people who can take care of some of those ancillary things that you're attempting to do, and it's not always the best.
Yeah.
And you've recognized that. I feel that that's a really important piece.
I know. I recognize that because I'm one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm one of them. Then, if somebody comes to you and says to you, I want to take the next step. Well, how you take the next step? Is learning.
Yeah.
All right? Then bad or good, you have to take the next
Sure.
step because you learn, all right? And if I come to you because I know you're good for what you do, you're going to have enough time to do it. Then just do it. I'm at the same point too, guys, because, right now with economy and stuff, money is not as comfortable like it was like a couple of years ago, and you have to watch what you're doing. But in the long run, you got to think the long process, you know what I mean? You get the professional, do their job, make sure you get some good professionals that know what they're doing, and get it done. And like me, obviously, I specialize in landscape photography, obviously, I cannot go do a wedding, but I have a lot of people say, "Hey, Manny, can you do a wedding?" Like, no.
Hey, you know where, number one, what you really enjoy, and you know where you don't want to be. And I think that's another important thing about being a business owner, an entrepreneur. Sometimes you try so many different things, you dabble in them, but you really know what you're good at.
I try. I'm never going back. I did a couple weddings. No way.
Yeah.
Then, it's not my personality. I mean, I had a good personality. I like people.
Sure.
But it's not me. I feel very uncomfortable to do that. Even if I do a super job.
Yeah. And that's a lot. There's a lot of pressure behind weddings. Cause every time I go to a wedding, I have this weird thing where I always look at the photographer at the moment when the first kiss happens. Cause they will sprint from the back of the room to capture them. And what if they were to miss that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is that happens one time. They're not going to redo that. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. That's why if you have to build a team. Where you have couple photographers, you put one here, one there. And again, okay, you get a wedding photographer and you get a good wedding photographer. It's nothing cheap. It never is going to be cheap. If it is cheap, it has to be a catch for it, right?
So I got a question for you about the clients that you serve. Are you commissioned to do things, or is it you go find what you want to photograph and then you kind of take it from there?
Yeah, then I do some commission work, but it's not big as I really want it to be. I guess was one of the things I never really put too much effort to it. You know, I started and I was more like a listener like this. Let's go get that. Let's go do this the best as we can. Take the picture, go back 20, 30, 40 times till you feel you get the same picture. I'm beyond that point. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to start working for some other people because, you know, but I have a little trouble because I have a little bit problems about me talking to people and giving them the best. You know, like a lot of people, sometimes their budget, it is not, you know what I mean, as good. I don't know. You can go in a gasoline station and you can say, okay, I have only $50 a day. I want to put $30 and I keep the 20. But when I come to take a picture for you, I can't say I will give you 50% of my work. When I'm there, I'm there.
Right.
I have to do the job and I have to do it right. You have to find the right clients to appreciate what you do. This way you can pay equivalent to it. You don't want to do something where the client comes to you and say, oh, my budget only is $100. And now you're under pressure. And because the budget is not there, you're not going to have enough time to get the job done the right way. You do it for money. That's one of the reasons I don't want to get into it. Because anything I do, I want to spend my time, do it right. You know what I mean? And
you take pride in that. You know, and I'm the same way. You know,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
we do software, and we have clients that come and say, hey, here's our budget. And it's like, I want to help them because I'm passionate about it. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't actually produce a good product with that budget, you know? And it's like, then it looks bad on me because it's like, if it's terrible, it's, it reflects on me.
But you won't let it be terrible. So
Right. Yeah.
You're going to see it every day, right?
Yeah.
Like you do marketing, you create an advertising, it's horrible because your client doesn't have no money to do anything more. You say, well, our budget was not there, but it's there. You feel bad.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I want to give you, nobody's going to give you 100%, 99%.
Right.
I got to give you, this is where you're going to come into the day, you're going to shake my hand, you're going to say, Manny, I love your work. That's the best. That's what you're after for.
Right. Yeah, I agree. You know, and you talked about how Sean had asked about how you prepare for taking a photo or, you know, shooting a photo, but you had mentioned earlier your kind of story of entrepreneurship, how you had this home building business or construction business and it kind of, you know, didn't go as planned. But I'm curious because I come from a family of immigrants from Italy, and they're the hardest working people I know. I mean, my grandparents are in their 70s, 80s, and they still all work. You know, it's great. I'm thinking like I talk about it like I want to retire. You know, when I'm 30. I'm like, they're the hardest working people I know. Has kind of being an immigrant and moving to this country, has that experience helped you with entrepreneurship, or has it made it more difficult? Like, you know, what's your take on that?
Can you be a little bit more exactly specific?
Yeah. So like, you know, for example, my grandparents, you know, there's a language barrier. You know, sometimes getting a job was tough because it was, you know, when they would speak, there's a translation issue. So like, you know, but they didn't start businesses. They, you know, went and worked for people, you know, and worked very hard. But you kind of went on your own. You started a business, you know, and you're when you first start, you're doing sales, you know, maybe contract negotiations, you know, marketing, you know. How does that, like, did that hurt you or help you? You know, that kind of.
Then I believe nationality is there. Obviously, you know, I mean, you know, a long time ago, I'm here, I'm older, we're getting older as we speak, am I right? Older you get, more wiser you get, whatever, you know what I mean?
Hopefully.
But then I think it lies more on your personality. Okay? Because, you know, you can come in from a hardworking family and you don't want to do nothing. I mean, I know one thing when I come here. If you want to succeed, anything you do, for you're a painter, you're a builder, you have to work. Nothing's going to come easy. Nothing. And you know what? What really is no good? I'll tell you what's really no good. Work, and nothing happens. That's the most disappointing times. And we still have those times, right? Because you work so hard, you work, and you do everything right. Nothing comes together. You get so disappointed. Then you're down for a couple of days, and you say, I'm going back again. I want to do all over again. And I think that's what keeps you going. It's not easy, you know. I think it lies to personality, 70%, and I would say your background. Obviously, family is it's the biggest part of your beginning. If you have a strong family, not many times you're going to do bad. You know what I mean? You're always going to have those exceptions, I would say. But I think if you come with a strong family and your personality is good, I think you have a very good chance. I mean, success, you measure success different ways, all right? You setting up a goal, you know, it can be a success. It's not all about money. It's about your personal success. Then I don't know if that answers your question. Or?
No, it does. Yeah, you know, like, because you know, I admire that. You know, I'm biased. You know, my grandparents. You know, my grandparents, they came over here and they worked hard, and they never, like, to this day, they just do not complain. Like, you know, like my grandfather always says to me, he's like, I don't understand why all the kids of my generation are complaining about X, Y, and Z. He's like, you know, like, he's like, this is great. He's like, you know, like, it's like the mentality is different. And, you know, I personally see a correlation with like business owners and successful business owners and, you know, kind of being an immigrant, because you come here and you're given this opportunity and you see that and you go out and try to capitalize. Whereas, you know, I think my generation, we kind of view certain things, we're like, like it should just happen, you know, it should just be like this. But it's like, no, you have to go out and work for it. You have to go out and want to do it. You know, like you said, nothing's going to come easy.
Nothing will come easy.
Well, you can see the hustlers out there. Not everybody falls, no matter what age group you're in, you don't all fall into that same stigma, I guess, because there are a lot of hardworking people at different age groups. You pointed it out with your grandparents. I know young people like yourself. Man, you guys are hustlers, and and I mean that in the best sense of the word. One of the things I wanted to kind of throw your way as we start to wrap up this episode of the Boss Juice podcast is, what sort of advice would you give to somebody, just based on your experiences in the profession that you're in? What advice would you give them when they're starting out, or even if they're established? What can they do differently and better?
On photography or?
Just in general. I mean, because we've talked about the hustle and, you know, staying focused on certain things, just based on how you've gotten to where you are. What kind of advice would you give to someone else?
Then about 30 years ago, if you ask me if college was necessary, I was going to tell you no. Okay. These days, you guys we need education. Number one advice, get education. Even if you're a painter, take a business degree. You know, take a business. You need to, the way the books goes, you need to know the books. You need to have, you can't advertise anywhere anymore. Media, social media is the number one of advertising, right? You newspaper, people, they don't read newspapers. You know, you can't advertise on the TV because it's going to cost you a lot of money. 90% of us will not have that enough availability of that. Then you have to understand that. Then you need to go to school somehow to learn, you know, businesses, you know, if I was again, I would take a little bit business, I would take a little bit of marketing for me. No matter if you're a painter, don't laugh, but you know what I mean? If you're a successful painter, you need to know how to do your books, you need to how to market yourself, you have to have some kind of business background to do that.
Well, I think in addition to that, joining networking groups, participating out in other circles, learning different things, meeting different people, associations that you get involved with, I think that's part of the schooling too. That's part of the layers of education or learning that you have. So one last question from me. How do people find out about this business of yours, the photography, the gallery? How do they find you? Where can they find you?
Oh, yeah. Then we'll try to be very visible as we can in Facebook and social media. We have Facebook account, Emmanuel's Fine Art Photography. Same thing in Instagram, Emmanuel's Fine Art Photography. Anywhere you find, just try to find me, Emmanuel's Fine Art Photography. Also have a website, www.epphoto.net. EP is my Emmanuel Panagiotakis, photo.net. And you can find us there. And that's about it. I mean,
This gallery, when is the gallery? What are the hours and things like that?
Okay, we're in the heart of downtown Beaver. Then we open every day except Mondays and Sundays. And every day is open from 9 o'clock till 5 p.m. And guys, come in. You're going to like it.
Yeah, we would encourage, all our podcast listeners to check this place out. And in the meantime, check out the website. I mean, when you look at the quality of the imagery that's out there, and you've done a really nice job, with it. What's your partner's name here? The fellow that does the technical work for you?
Oh yeah, Jason. Jason did a very good job.
Does a great job, and there's little blurbs, little stories that help tie all of this together. So it's interesting. So I encourage you to check it out.
My daughter helped out a lot on the stories too.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a family thing,
So what's next? Like what are your future plans for this business, and what are your future goals? What are the next steps? Where do you want to go?
Well, that's a fun thing. Okay, then what I'm looking my next location.
Oh, cool.
Where I want to go take pictures. No location to open another business.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I would like it, but right now probably we cannot do anything like this. But my dream is to be as many locations I can be, whatever God gives me, whatever many years God gives me. This is my thing, and everything else is going to happen. I don't know. I can't make any suggestions. I want to have 4 or 5 locations, but I'm so far away from that, like galleries. But right now, what I need to do is I need to find the best pictures, put myself in the best case scenario to capture the second, the split of the second, the 10th of the second, and show it to you. And I want you to come in and say to me, Manny, wow, I love it. That's what I'm looking for.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, we appreciate you taking time to talk with us today. And Antonino, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, like always, I got the last question that we always like to ask every entrepreneur is that if you could give one word of advice to a young entrepreneur or someone who is starting a new business, what would it be?
Work hard.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Well, listen, we appreciate you taking the time. We had a blast here, and we look forward to, hopefully seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you for joining us on the Boss Juice podcast. A lot of big things coming up, so stay tuned, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank
you, Emmanuel. Appreciate it.